loved is to be known, and it's an act of love to allow others to know you. But is it an act of betrayal to share this intimate, personal knowledge with others? It's an innate human nature to be curious. We wonder about the life around us constantly, like why did the leaves change color, or why did that car pass me going 70 to 45? But we are particularly interested in the people around us. We wonder about the lives they've led and the ones they're leading. But is it okay to share this personal information once we know it? What if it's to comfort another person, to let them know they're not alone in that situation? That you know somebody who has gone through something similar? Well, this is where you utilize the rotary four-way test to determine, is it okay to share the personal experience of others? When it comes to myself, I am exceedingly interested in the backstories of those around me, especially those of my parents. I found myself wondering about their past, and nights when I learn more about them are my favorite. It was on one of those nights when it was just my mom and I when she told me of her rendezvous to Texas when she was 15. She stole her dad's car, drove to Texas with her boyfriend, and stayed with his family. She left the car on the side of the road at one point, and eventually his aunt took them back to Kansas. And even though she had stolen his car and ran off, she said her dad never yelled at her. He just called her a troublemaker as he embraced her. The story was told to me to demonstrate my grandpa Alan's calm demeanor. She says he never even cursed, and I felt more close to her and him in that moment than I had ever before. It was personal, and I was honored to know it. I shared the story with my friend because I found it so interesting, but then I wondered if I should have at all. Was it a certain betrayal of trust to tell my friend the story? By using the rotary four-way test, we first ask ourselves if it is the truth. Although it is the truth, is it a truth I should be telling? This we ponder with our next question. Is it fair to all concerned? Well, is it fair to my mom to tell my friend about her past? Is there something she would mind me telling others? To answer these questions, I believe it's important to consider your audience. Maybe my mom wouldn't mind me telling my friend, but she would mind me telling peers of hers. However, is it unfair to me to be unable to tell her story? Isn't that how you preserve the memories of others? I feel it's important to share the lives of your loved ones, but that also comes with consideration. You must consider what they would want you to share and what's respectful to share. It's one thing to tell someone your mom's favorite color rather than her most life-altering moment. But of course, perhaps your best bet is simply to ask them what they're comfortable with you sharing. This would build trust, which contributes to the third spoke in the rotary four-way test. Will it build goodwill and friendships? By asking before telling of another's personal experience, perhaps even trauma, you are respecting that person's boundaries. It is a common decency to do so, but it will always be much appreciated. If allowed, sharing this experience might also boost your friendship with others. Maybe you cannot personally relate to what someone else is going through, but by bestowing upon them this experience of another, you're letting them know they're not alone in that situation. You're trusting with them what you're entrusted with, creating a closer bond with them as well. When I told my friend about my mom's adolescent Texas adventure, perhaps neither of us could relate, but it did create a stronger bond between us. Every person impacts your life, and a true understanding of yourself comes from an understanding of those around you. I may not ever plan on running off to Texas, but I might wish to escape at a friend's house for a night, and in that moment I realized I'm not so far off from my mom when she was younger. This knowledge of others, and so forth yourself, is a benefit, and thus our final question. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? As I've just mentioned, this understanding that you gain, not only of your peers, but of yourself, is a benefit of the situation. From the moment someone allows you that knowledge, you are both benefiting. They feel a sort of peace or nostalgia by sharing, and you feel honored by it. You benefit again when you tell someone else of this experience, because you grow as a person when you connect with others. The person benefits from you telling them because perhaps they realize they are not alone, or they relate to the aspects of the story. However, let's say you didn't ask for permission first. It still benefits you and the person you're telling, but it might have negative consequences as well. You might lose trust with the person whose story you're telling, and they might be uncomfortable with what you've shared. In the end, it boils down to what you're telling and the permission you've received. By using the rotary four-way test, we can determine that it is not explicitly wrong to share the personal experience of others. If you don't embellish the story, therefore keeping it truthful, it passes our first question. It remains fair to all concerned. when you ask for permission or know the person well enough to understand their boundaries on the situation. And this understanding and consideration builds a stronger friendship between you and that person, as well as the one you're sharing with. And finally, by sharing these experiences, everyone benefits. A true understanding of yourself is an understanding of others. And with the Rotary 4-Way test, we have established that sharing the personal experience of others is not morally wrong.